won back. In Rotterdam, it was Moist Esports that took it. And that has stung for months on end. KC with a chance to put them down in the lower bracket.
A rare occasion where both teams are trying to get revenge at the same time. KCorp for the land loss that Moist handed them in the fall. And Moist for all the losses KCorp handed them. Oh my goodness. Vatira's not wasting any time. Only 6 seconds in, he goes 1v2. Juicy, unable to make contact. Joyo wishes he did.
Vatira wanted a sip of water. Didn't want to take some time for it. Get the goal, take your sip, get back into the game. Moist Esports know exactly what they're up against. Had to jump through so many hoops to make it to this stage. The KCorp, though, they're the team that have sort of seen their place in the world fizzle out a little bit, but Vitality bringing in Zen, becoming that new favorite for the big spot. That was KC's spot for the entire season. They don't want to see it stolen.
The other all-important storyline we need to talk about, of course, which will remain relevant for just about another 2 to 3 hours, is version 1. They're going to be hoping that the loser of this match can take down Rule 1 later on today. And if you're a version 1 fan, you better be hoping this series is close, because the loser going down into the lower bracket off a hard loss, off a one-sided loss, will not be feeling confident against Rule 1.
Vatira, ball fully within his control. Can he make the second goal go in? Not quite. 1 minute down. KC had the advantages up to now. Vatira back in again. Exotic will wait in the midfield, now called in. Actually does whiff the ball. Juicy, reset. What's his options? Gets it back out to Cash. Over the top of his head, Joyo's turn, and Vatira, well, the love is now gone. Clattered into.
I mean, there's no way that Vatira could play the ball, so he just collapsed Joyo the way. Oh, hold on a second. How has Cash got the ball through everybody? It almost looked like KCorp were stunned as well, because he's just hit this one time and then flown behind it, and it's actually completely missed. Vatira bumped out of the way, but it's actually, he's got to play the ball there. Bit of a mistake by KCorp.
Cash went up with a flying nothing, and it ended up being the most dangerous thing he could have done. Joyo's turn. Well, that's actually playable. Here's Cash. Reset. Can't get it past Itachi. Juicy. Probably the player with the most question marks on him coming into this game. How does he step up to this? I've seen so many players having very different reactions to being on this stage in front of a crowd. Exotic. Where's his options? Vatira moving in to help out. Down the line. Oh, and Cash has misread it. Who's first? Juicy.
Whoa, what?
Juicy! That was ice cold!
Juicy just faking it on his own goal line after his teammate completely misses the ball. That is ridiculous. And now he's got a chance to get a goal on the other side. Drop down for Cash! What a turnaround!
Question answered. Juicy's a land boy.
I still can't believe that mind game in front of his own goal line.
That might be the
ridiculous.
bravest thing I've seen from any player.
I mean, he's in his LAN debut. Only his second day playing. Oh no, 6 X is too easy here. KCorp do really well to win the kickoff over the top of Joyo. That's a big win. Joyo had no time to react. I mean, Joyo there, he's got to try and bump Exotic. He just drives off and leaves his third man with no chance. That's just too easy. Moist did so well to score, put themselves in front, and now their lead's completely gone in the blink of an eye.
Carmine 2 off kickoffs. Moist Esports 2-0 from open play. What will be the X factor? You'd expect players like Cash to really play into this one. We know how he does on live events. Had a fantastic performance with Quadrant over at the Full Major. Really felt like he was the player that most people were looking at coming out of that event. Now have a chance to prove everyone right. Juicy doesn't quite catch the ball. Over to the wall. Went for the pinch. Exotic cast the play and actually hit it into Itachi. So now Moist Esports might be able to keep going here. Although boost totals overall were running pretty low.
You know, I like what I'm seeing from Juicy here. He's playing a possession-based style. Easy save there for the aforementioned. Quickly turns around to clear the back wall as well. And if he's the question mark coming into this match for Moist, this really is firmly answered already. Juicy's landed inside the net there, so he's going to be back for this. Bit of a tricky position. KCorp are so good, as we know from watching them all season, at keeping teams stuck on the back foot. Moist break free.
Vatira does well, gets the ball out to Exotic. Question mark from the backboard. Joyo more than even to it. And Moist Esports are not panicking in their own side of the field. Taking their time, playing the ball. Juicy moves in. Backboard easily covered by Vatira. With Itachi to his right-hand side, but Vatira seems happy to solo play quite often. There's a player gone. Cash against Exotic. Exotic does well. In comes Itachi and up to Joyo.
Yeah, good cover at the near post there by Joyo. Knew the shot would be coming quickly. KCorp, never a team to slow down the attack when they've got good position. Itachi looking to neutralize the ball in the box, but it's well deflected by Moist. Oh, Juicy looked for the bottom corner there. It's thought he saw Vatira off his line. Vatira looks like he may have had it covered. Juicy keeping them honest with these long shots.
Juicy has been incredible in game number 1. Cash waiting for his chance. Oh, wait a minute, it's a bit of a catastrophe. Itachi recovers well. Guides the ball down. Vatira a little bit of time, but Juicy was on the way. 25 seconds. Vatira with Cash plays it back. Did get bumped, but still recovered it. Exotic straight over to Juicy, and now they break.
Another big hit from Juicy, and this is going to force KCorp to sit back with their third man. Lots of heavy hits from Moist. Cleanly hitting the ball. Looks like the backball defense has been more than sufficient for KCorp as they keep this at a deadlock. Now Juicy attempting to find a teammate in the middle in 0 seconds. This is a complete whiff by both teams. I don't think anyone is expecting that. Into overtime we go.
Kickoffs have been for KC so far. It's happened again. Tachi can't beat Juicy to the ball. Exotic up the wall. Doesn't get hit either way. He's off the challenge. In comes Itachi!
Oh. Ice cold. Takes his time right in front of goal. Exotic 50s it perfectly towards him. I mean, it might look fortunate, but he absolutely meant that.
Absolutely perfect. KC take game number 1. We are over to the best of 7s. Timeouts are on the board. And we have a Moist fan right in the middle of the KC lot. You know what? Juicy is no longer the bravest person in this building. It's that guy.
Yeah, I think it should be a relatively safe place to be. One of the more friendly rivalries off the pitch. I feel like there's a lot of mutual fans between these two teams, but on the pitch there's not really been a lot of friendliness to speak of. Vatira opened the scoring in 6 seconds. Cash fired back. Bit of a mistake by Itachi, leaving that one all alone to Vatira, but it was Exotic actually finding Itachi in the middle with a 50-50 pass that Moist were not ready for. You've always got to watch out for the low 50s when you're playing KCorp.
For Moist Esports, the story has been the same ever since these roster moves came in, which is when it goes wrong, it goes really wrong. It needs to not be that way at this sort of stage. Yes, the first game has now gone against them. How do you see them bouncing back here?
I think they've got it in them. They've shown that they've got real focus this weekend. They've shown that they can consistently perform, 3-1 wins in both of their upper bracket series so far against North America's 2nd and 3rd seeded teams, Furia and Optic. Moist, not a team that are just going to fall over here. Juicy has, like we keep mentioning, played very well. We know what to expect from Cash on LAN. Joyo, one of the most consistent LAN finishers in the Open era.
Yes, 3 of the most consistent, all coming from the same roster. That is just slightly wide and the worst possible bounce for Joyo to see. Takes all the sizzle out of that play. Juicy now back to the corner, up against Exotic. Exotic does well, now against Joyo. Slight battle over in the corner for the time being. Those boost totals become so important very soon if this keeps going. Joyo with a good boost steal. Vatira up on the challenge and Joyo's through too. Can he get something else? Not quite.
Now you do ask, what are the chances for Moist right now? I think they're still pretty good, but if they lose one more game, those deplete rapidly, and that's gone in. Vatira deletes the ball with a perfectly top corner shot. What a recovery, immediately back onto it. And how about that for placement?
You had everything going for you, apart from one thing. You don't have Vatira. KC do, and that's the difference maker for goal number 1. Joyo, oh, that's a good kickoff for him, and Itachi, I think would have it covered, but he's got a slight miss. Actually managed to leap himself off the backboard. Moist Will that last goal just settle in the back of the mind? They've been here a few times, tried to get the ball dropped down for Joyo. Now the breakaway. Juicy. There first, missed from Itachi. Look for the top.
Oh, what a save. Oyster just waiting patiently for these chances. I like that they're taking their time. I like that they're looking for passes in the final third. KCorp really warming up now. Great bump. Exotic just strikes it off. What play by Exotic. One of the most solid, consistent players in the world. He really does encompass no-nonsense gameplay. If he can play the ball, he will. You're not going to get anything free against a player like him. That's just so frustrating to go up against.
Exotic, backboard, reset, goal!
And that's just again too easy. Itachi rips it into the middle. Exotic up quickly, stealing reset. And then bounces it past Cash, who is floundering in net. Not a lot of boost to his name. Really needed some help there. KCorp are running away with this now. I mentioned it earlier. If KCorp can win one more game, the reason it becomes significantly more difficult for Moist to come back is because KCorp are one of the best teams at winning after a timeout. They've got a ridiculous record, and that has to be. No, not quite. Vatira again in the way of a point-blank range shot.
Itachi wants to get the ball to Vatira. Not quite going to work out for him. It's been KC that have not required too much of a look in order to get their goals. It's been no build-up. It's just been, here's what we want, here's how we'll do it, and we've already got the goal. Although this might be a great chance, and he took it too early, but Juicy provides the support.
Yeah, that was nearly a disaster for Moist, but Juicy's done well here. KCorp getting a bit caught up in the near post. Cash wanted to force an own goal there, but actually nearly ended up pinching it off the post to safety. Juicy there to finish it off, and a lot of time left in the game. Moist have had plenty territory to play with. KCorp still looks so consistent. A little blip there in defense. You're not going to see many of those.
Joyo tries for the ground pinch. Exotic. Bit wasteful from him. He did have Vatira on the right-hand side. Not used to seeing that from Exotic. As we have seen from KC, they don't need much. Now back into the midfield. Itachi drops the ball down. Juicy over to the wall. Wants to get the ball by himself, but Vatira well ahead of him. And now Vatira well ahead of another one. And actually, what on earth are Moist doing?
Oh, that is not what you want to see from Moist. That is a massive, massive misplay. Cash plays it straight into Vatira's stealing challenge. Joyo lands on top of Juicy, and that prevents either of them from jumping to save a simple shot. A complete disaster for Moist. They've got to forget about that right now because, I mean, for the wrong reasons, that one's going to be on a highlight reel.
Calamity, catastrophe. Call it what you want.
Okay.
We'll call this a match that's still in the balance.
Well, that was a huge, huge goal for Moist, just to completely reset after a disaster in defense with a quick goal back. Again, 1 goal difference and over 2 minutes to play.
Kick off again, 2 minutes and 1 second left. Back lost it, Itachi. Oh, that first touch asked quite a lot of himself. Now Cash, time, ball, options, goes backboard. Vatira's got to get it there in time. See the respect for Moist Esports. They knew as soon as they saw Vatira that they're going to have to back down for now. Moist Esports done a good job so far of mixing up the pace. From slow plays to just hard hits and try and chase down. Can they get one more mistake from the usual steadfast KC? In field, and well read by Juicy. Exotic, you've got to get there quick enough, and he has done exactly that.
Exotic is, luckily for him, he can see exactly where Juicy was coming from. He knew the timing that he needed to make to get that shot blocked at the near post. But still, really well played by Juicy to spot the KCorp infield pass and turn it into a Moist attack.
Boom and clear there by Cash. What a touch that is. Unfortunately for him, he is demoed. Brings Juicy into the play. They've got options midfield, and Vatira waits for the pass. You can see the confidence that KC have got in their defense. Off the backboard, to Joyo!
Now that is a goal and a half. Joyo up immediately, beats this man, and leaves no chance for Vatira on the goal line. He's had some spectacular saves in this series, but you're not saving that one. That is why Joyo is such a dangerous player on LAN.
Joyo just turned what the Death said is the best player in the world into a spectator. Off the backboard. Moist Esports will think that they need this game. They would be completely right. Joyo, he waits, he goes! Who dares stop him? It's Exotic that meets him.
Oh, if Joyo had 10 more boosts, that would have been really scary for KCorp. Luckily, he couldn't get behind the ball to block it. In the closing seconds, still Moist are the team who are probing. They've had midfield control. It's a pass off. Oh my goodness, what a save by Exotic. That pass was brilliant by Moist.
Boost totals, Itachi's low. They needed to get rid of it. Exotic's done exactly that. Cash for 0-second heroics. Over to Joyo. Beat to the ball by Itachi. And we have overtime.
It does feel like a must-win for Moist, but momentum's on their side. KCorp are looking for the overextensions, but Moist have played it so carefully in offense. Whoa!
Joyo, good challenge win! Exotic there in time!
And once again, the goal line, so close to accepting the ball into the KCorp net. Flashbacks to Rule 1 complexity here.
Back out. There's time, Joyo. A little bit too much to work with from the ceiling. But it has been all Moist in this overtime. Back out. Cash from the backboard. Joyo's waiting, sees the ball over the top of his head, and now it's KC's turn.
Exotic always looking for the easy option, just shooting directly there, thinking, well, you know, we scored a pretty easy goal earlier on. Maybe we'll just test them once again. This time Moist are okay, but oh, not for long. It's Exotic to win it for KCorp, and all it took was one miss for Moist in defense. Joyo trying to double it, but he didn't have any way to get there. Juicy under pressure, and it's just that easy. KCorp break the defense pretty much for the first try.
KC had 42% ball touches. They made every single one count. We were saying that one was must-win for Moist Esports. We're going to find out whether or not that is correct, because Moist Esports have managed to run this close twice, and twice they have fallen short.
And it just goes to show how difficult it is to defend against a clinical team like KCorp. They did not need that many chances on net. They put 4 out of 7 shots into the back of the net. As soon as that ball's bouncing towards Exotic, Itachi knows exactly what to do. We have had a timeout call by Moist. I think that makes a lot of sense. These games have been close, but they've both been losses as well. Exotic underestimated at the Winter Major, underrated by many. I think continually throughout this season and throughout his entire career, he's such an underrated player because he doesn't air roll as much as your average Rocket League fan wants him to. He doesn't air dribble as much as your average Rocket League fan wants him to. He just plays such effective Rocket League. I mean, if there's one player that 99.9% of us should be copying in our own gameplay, it's Exotic. Very replicatable playstyle at any level of gameplay, and it works, even at the highest level.
I mean, we can absolutely look at any of those goals that went in, and for KC, it was all about just having that trust. I mean, there was the opportunity at the very beginning of that overtime where we're thinking, it's done. Moist Esports have got this. They put it into the bottom corner. They already managed to fake a play before then, and somehow, some way, KC had the read, they had the discipline, and they got the save. So for Moist Esports coming off this timeout, it's huge. It's absolutely huge, and because that lower bracket you are playing later on today, that is so little time to reset mentally.
Yeah, and this one is getting away from them. They've played well. I think Moist all weekend, they've played very well, and I like what I'm seeing from them for the most part. Just nervous in defense is how I would describe them. That's what they need to be talking about right now. Don't change anything about how they're attacking, because I like what they're doing. They're actually making KCorp look vulnerable. They're holding the midfield against a team who usually dominate the midfield, but when Moist are pushed back, which is, you know, inevitable, it's going to happen, they've got to communicate. They've got to stay calm. We had a horrendous third goal that they conceded in this series, in this game, sorry, that's really not acceptable at this level. Will they keep the nerves under control in defense in Game 3?
The storyline for Moist has always been that it has to go their way throughout the entire series or they crumble. That's not been the thing in this match. Time to rewrite the narratives. If they are to take down KC, left for Itachi. What a save that is. We stay at 0-0.
That's huge for Moist. Early on, they stopped the KC push, and it just looked like a classic KC attack there. Nothing too crazy, just setting up a shot from point-blank range that you expect to just fire into the net, but no, there was a Moist defender there this time, and that's a great sign for Moist early in game 3.
Juicy takes his time. Need a little bit of support. Here comes Vatira. It's open for everybody at the moment. Joyo to Cash. Exotic will fancy his chances this time around, and now he can continue onwards. The wall recoveries from KC have been exceptional. KC never lands in a position where there is not the chance to get back nice and quick.
And even there, Exotic taking him a 50-50 mid-air. He's trying to deflect it towards his teammate. Such a selfless player. Not trying to force it through the opponent. He's not worried about putting it on net. No, he just knows exactly where his teammates will be. That's where he wants the ball to go.
Oh, second touch actually my front Juicy off, but he still managed to play it. Over the top, it's trundling towards the net, but Juicy's there in time. Demo's starting to come out here from KC. Cash powers the ball long. Itachi down to Exotic. How good have the passing plays from KC been so far? Not a single one has been off target.
Yeah, right there, Juicy was covering the middle pass just in case. He knows that's something KCorp have utilized to great effect this series. Now here comes Vatira. Air dribbling to the backboard. Cash collects. Exotic quite happy to move in as third man there, knowing there's not really any threat of a counter. And look what happens. He just stays active, finds his teammate in the middle, and it's just too easy for Itachi.
I mean, just look at Itachi that entire time on the replay. He picked his spot, he stuck with it, because he knew the ball was going to be on a dime.
I mean, it's just first class delivery from Exotic. It's unbelievable. Itachi perfectly times his arrival. You know, we have to give him credit as well. It's not just about the pass, it's about the attacking player arriving at a good time to make the pass straightforward, but Exotic absolutely nailed that. And I feel like the Exotic Itachi passing plays have really complemented Vatira's solo plays in this series. Moist have not had an answer. You know, they've had answers with goals of their own, but when it comes to stopping KCorp from scoring, yet to really see that happen.
There comes Cash, and, well, not the sort of shot that you expect to see from him. Easy enough for KC. Here comes Itachi to try and double up. Cash now chases, does well off the challenge, goes for the recovery, infield, and unfortunately, KC know what the infield looks like. They've been scoring off it. You're not going to get one against them.
This is a big chance for Juicy. Fires it well, and it's in! Pass to KCorp defenders. Juicy, downfield, receives the cannon's pass, and adds a little bit of power to it.
Bang! Moist Esports back in. They've run KC close in both the games. That's not been the problem. The problem is this moment right now. Can they clutch it up? Oh, that's so awkward. Juicy has to go. Gets there before Itachi. Now he's unleashed Joyo. One-on-one for now. Infield option. Doesn't want to take it. But tries to read the challenge. Cash was demoed, so no follow.
That's a great try by Joyo. Vatira really did well to block the attempted dunk by Joyo as well. Joyo faking a immediate shot. Now, is anyone back? No one's back. It's simple again for KCorp. Just so difficult to keep them under control. Every 50-50 just seems to find a KCorp player. If you're a Moist fan, it's easy to call that lucky, but if you've been following KCorp season, you know that's just what they do.
If you've been following KCorp's match, you know that's what they do. Every challenge goes lateral. Every challenge has a player on the end of it. Every challenge results in a goal. A mountain of work here for Moist Esports to accomplish. And so little time to do it. Cash stealing, he's got Joyo up already, too much to do. Juicy holds the midfield, that's a bit of a heavy first touch though. Itachi will take over, leaves it for Exotic! Story of the match!
And now the gap is really starting to open up. Double tap, fake there by Itachi. Just leaves it for Exotic, who slots it bottom corner. Moist brought the firepower in the first two games, but it seems like their timeout call only helped KCorp figure them out.
Just over a minute left here. Look from the recovery. Cash has to play for the double tap. He's actually got it on target. Exotic well aware. Exotic going as far as Joyo. That could be interesting, but Itachi has it covered well. Over to Exotic yet again. It's like a magnet. Every single time Itachi plays the ball, it's straight to Exotic.
You just know what you're going to get. He's such a great teammate to Itachi and Vatira because they know exactly where they need to position in order to play around Exotic. You do need players like that in any Rocket League team right now. You can't just have 3 loose cannons. Oh, but Moist have got one, and it's a good one. But they just can't get the second goal. Still time. Juicy's up, but he's easily beaten by Itachi.
They need to make the play right now. They need at least 1 second on the board. Cash. Down to Joyo. Has to go in. Off right now, but they have run out of time. Nothing for consolation either. 1, 2, 3, 4 match points to KC.
Timeout already used for Moist. Just seems impossible. What chance can you possibly have against such seasoned veterans? KCorp may have started slowly in this event in their first 2 games, but ever since then, they've been non-stop. In fact, they've been improving step by step. 3-2 in round 1 against Ground Zero, 3-1 in round 2 against Space Station Gaming. Now they're looking to sweep Moist in the upper semi-final and guarantee a top 3 for themselves. Sky's the limit for KCorp. We already knew that going into this, but okay, this is getting very worrying for Moist. I said, if you're a fan of version 1, if you're a fan of NA Rocket League, having as many teams at the World Championship Wildcard as possible, and the World Championship altogether, you're probably going to need Moist to beat Rule 1 later. I don't see a comeback here, if I'm being honest with you. How do you beat KCorp 4 in a row? And if Moist are going to play Rule 1 later, they better get some momentum in this match, even if it's not a full comeback, even if it's not a reverse sweep, just something that they can be positive about before going into the lower bracket.
I mean, even taking what we've seen from this split aside when it comes to Moist, gameplay-wise, Rule 1 looks like a nightmare matchup for Moist Esports because we're seeing so many of these challenges being aimed towards the midfield from KC. If we're going to talk about a team that's got a phenomenal challenge game, Rule 1 is pretty high up on that list. Yeah,
Rule 1 looked like a completely different team today. They've confirmed their form on the penultimate day of the competition. Moist were promising early, but have yet to really prove that they're the full package. No respectable losses can only take us so far, and that's much better. Juicy slots the tight angle shot for 1-0. More of that is exactly what Moist are looking for.
It's important to remember that 2 of the 3 games that Moist have lost were relatively close, fought to the bitter end. That last game that really puts the question marks out there. A big win here will go a long, long way. Juicy over to the corner. Itachi. He gets hit a little bit, but Juicy's still on the warpath. And actually, Moist Esports are just trying to take over the blue wall. Exotic has been automatic whenever called upon. Off the backboard this time around from Itachi. Oh, good fake out actually from Joyo. Now where can he take it? Itachi's gone! Cash looks for the top corner! Surely this goes in! So much good work, nothing for it!
I mean, that's a class 1v2 play from Joyo. Mind game and an air dribble bump pass as well. The finish just wasn't there for Cash, which is so rare to see. You think in those kind of positions that he'd be able to go 1v1 with the last defender. And here come KCorp the other way. Infield pass to Exotic. Actually does not get anything on the shot, but it looked like Moist had that one covered.
Thinking as well about what this means to KC in this, because they are a team that, against what we know from them, did not win a regional this split. The 2 teams that have been considered above them are also in the upper bracket. This is all about throwing down the gauntlet on their side, beating Moist Esports as much as they possibly can, sending the warning shot to BDS and Vitality. Juicy, good challenge. Vatira just far too quick. Moist Esports, they're just slowing this game down a little bit here. It has been chaotic in the matches that they were playing close in. Good cut rotation there from Juicy. Joyo did well last time, but this time shut down. The possession-based game of Moist Esports has been an improvement on what we have seen.
Just look how low KCorp keep the ball for extended periods of time. Joyo recovering well off the 50-50. It's a shot for Juicy, and it's in.
Joyo is a problem. And he's the best problem for Moist Esports to have.
He just got his flip back by landing on his opponent and then used it to outplay the last man. It's fantastic by Joyo. Great creativity, brilliant awareness. Juicy again, the finisher.
Kickoffs again for KC. Performing relatively well. The wall from Vatira tries to fake out Cash. Cash just delays himself on the backboard. Interesting to see now how KC plays from 2 goals back. The time will tick away very quickly. There's going to have to be one more. They have to spend everything, but Moist Esports can be wobbly on occasion. And instead this time they kind of weaponized it.
Well, that was nearly the luckiest back pass I've ever seen, because I don't think Juicy meant to hit the ball in that direction, but it nearly ended up in the KCorp net, much to the surprise of the blue wall, I'm sure.
Joyo always sticking around, trying to make it free. Cash, backboard, went for the reset. Never gonna have enough time for that. KC always recover quick. Just keeping the ball on this side of the field is all Moist need to do. And KC, they were scrambling. They knew they had to get rid of it. And it's gone against them.
It's just these little extra touches by Moist that have panicked KCorp. Exotic there thought he needed to play the ball to deny a shot, but it was actually his goalkeeper that was coming towards the ball, not an opponent. Moist up by 3. He will get one on the board by looks of things.
And when you are trying for these reverse sweeps, you would love to start it in the fashion that Moist have. You look at games like this and you say, okay, you can replicate that. It's not scrappy. Oh, it's Cash. We have a reflex test for him. Still a long way to go, though. Land reverse sweeps are unheard of. Could Boston be the place for it?
I can't even begin to imagine the noise if we get a reverse sweep for Moist, who do appear to be the fan favorites in the upper bracket right now. I think that will probably change later in the tournament if Gen G keep on making a run, maybe Rule 1, who knows, with the underdog story, but Moist getting a lot of love in Boston right now. This is exactly what their fans wanted. Not just a win, but clean sheet. Wouldn't that be nice to show that they're ready to defend at that level, as well as produce world-class offense?
Well, they've completely stopped KC's game in this one. The infield has not been an option whatsoever, completely taken off the menu. Joyo, such a nuisance. Every time he gets the ball, he just slows the play down, hits the pause button, and makes everyone on KC take a huge breath in. Now Joyo tests Itachi. This is just trying to rub salt in the wound. Moist Esports look like they've got the first one on the board. And it'll be 3 more after this.
And they've actually held KCorp to just 2 shots. We might get a third one in the last few seconds here. Indeed we do, but that's a great result for Moist. Easily the best defensive game from them. There were no panicky moments. I think maybe one accidental back pass by Juicy, but apart from that, they were fantastic. They're on the board. They're trying to do the impossible, but they're a quarter of the way there.
Those of you joining us for your first ever Rocket League event and maybe thinking, all right, it's 4 games in a row. We've seen sweeps all the time. Like, surely going the opposite way is ridiculously hard. If we do see this, it would be something special indeed, but we are pretty far away from that for now. Reminder, KC still have their timeout if they ever want to take it.
Yeah, and that's the scary part, is KCorp, after timeouts, are 15-3. That's 15 game wins to just 3 losses after they call timeouts this season. Moist actually just 4-5. They're one of the teams with seemingly the worst timeout records, but KCorp's timeout records are easily some of the best in the world. They're actually one of the teams with the best record against their opponents calling timeouts, which is echoed by today's result, easily beating Moist in Game 3. Yeah, if we see a timeout for KCorp at any point, statistically their chances to win go into the 80th percentages, and that's almost unheard of in Rocket League. Their goals per game for timeout stats in general across all teams on LAN go from 1 goal per game to 2.67, comparing the games before and after timeouts. Goals against from 3.05 to 1.43. I mean, the stats are very consistent on this. So when KCorp decide to do that, that will be the most difficult game for Moist to win.
And that's if KC even needs to do that. Oh, there's the pass, and well played by Vatira to get that one read. Had a lot of power on it. Exotic trying to get the ball down. Him and Itachi have been the duo throughout this series. Now the pass, Joyo stopped by Vatira. They're not best friends anymore. Back down, here comes Cash. Beat to it easily by Itachi. Leaves it, Vatira goes up, Joyo under pressure. And under no stress.
Yeah, crucially, flicks the ball away from danger. Cash looking for the mind game. I think the mind games have been maybe a bit too predictable by Moist as this series continues. They were brilliant with them earlier, but KCorp have clocked onto it. Again, what they do is just they hit the ball. If your opponent could be mind gaming you, just ignore them. Just hit the ball. That's what KCorp are doing right now. Juicy looking for a more direct outplay. Nearly had it.
Joyo now up. Beats Itachi to the ball. Looks to try and continue onwards. You can see Juicy waiting. Decides to now take his opportunity. Exotic looks to try and get rid of the ball. KC were stuck in their own side of the field. Well, certainly an attempt, but it's now over to Joyo. Vatira has to play the ball smart. Goes straight up to the ceiling. He's having absolutely none of it.
Oh, that's good positioning by Cash. He spotted Itachi's intentions. Cash offloads to Joyo. A common combination for Moist this season. KCorp are well aware of that. They've been shutting the majority of those passing plays down.
What a bounce.
Itachi's on the end of this quickly. Joyo beat into it, but Cash actually, again, just hitting the ball so hard into his own back corner. I mean, that's risky. If you can't get a second touch, KCorp will be taking a shot.
We want to highlight as well just how much of a good job KC have done on the transitions from their own side of the field. Whenever they just sense danger, just popping the ball up. They've already left somebody on the backboard. Made their life so much easier as 2 players needed to stop Itachi. Sort of maths that KC will be happy about. Back to the corner, KC now probing. Looking for their opportunities. All backing down. It's Exotic to the far corner. Everyone's just loitering around. It's hard to not keep your eyes off the ball. Trying to see those bump plays as Exotic does get one. Juicy drops down. Cash, he's got time. Looks to go off the backboard. Who's there first? Nobody from Moist.
I still love that from Cash. He knew he had all the time in the world. It's actually bumping here. Cash dodges it. The time taken by Moist is staggering in offense. Vatira with a critical save. Actually calls Exotic off of it. Vatira's back onto this one. That just really shows KCorp are allowing Moist to hit the ball at them. It's not really characteristic of them to allow shots, but seemingly they think Moist are going to overextend.
I mean, when you think KC, you think instant challenges. You don't think anybody's going to slow down their play. Everyone should have to be at supersonic just to reach them. Moist have at least had those gaps. Now the drop-down pay. Oh, Cash drops it back to Joyo. Boost total's running low overall on Moist, but can they still create something from this?
Yeah, Moist looking for outplays this game. Relying on those mind games at all. KCorp not allowing any just yet. Still very promising signs for Moist that they've kept KCorp scoreless for almost 2 entire games. Demo from Juicy opens up so much space on the right side of the field. He's got options here. Decides to go straight for goal. It's covered by Exotic, of course. Still half a chance for Moist. Got a decent look at this. It's into the middle. Itachi covers it.
That was a huge jump in as well from Juicy. A little bit too much of a commitment. Solid challenge from Itachi. Our second one. Third required to take it away. But what a third it is! Oh, wait a minute. Oh, he's not going to get there! Whoa! It's happened again!
Joyo did not think Itachi had a free shot here. Juicy's probably calling in comms that he's bumping. All of a sudden, Itachi jumps over the bump at the very last second and shoots it past Joyo, who thought he probably had the shot covered anyway.
Moist fans will be thinking not like this. Not like those goals. We've got 30 seconds to try and send us to overtime. Batira in to try and put the dagger off the backboard. Triple commit from Moist Esports, the last thing they needed to see. Here comes Exotic. Doesn't get a hold of the ball. Joyo beat to it. Time ticking away for Moist.
Itachi with a big 50 into the middle is defended by Juicy, but they need to get the ball into attack right now. Juicy and Cash do have boost, so the counter-attack is available. What can Cash do with it? Looks for the pass out into the middle. Itachi knew it was coming, and KCorp will win. Again, the passing play is shut down on transition. A convincing 4-1 win as KC advance to the winter final.
BDS, Vitality. There's the gauntlet. We'll see who picks it up later on. But for KCorp, a team with so much that they want to prove, they want that momentum at the end of this event, and they want it going into Worlds. And what a moment that is from the ex-teammates.
Still, you have to remind yourself every now and then, we've got the entire former Moist roster in the top 6 of this event. Moist down to the lower bracket. They're not done yet. They're going to play in the 5th match today. We've just played 3 matches. So Moist will play after about an hour break against Rule 1 to stay in the competition. As we've referred to earlier, there's more to it than that. If Moist can beat Rule 1, version 1 will qualify for the World Championship Wildcard. If Rule 1 will beat Moist, it will be Twisted Minds from Middle East, North Africa instead. It is as simple as that. One match to decide who goes to Worlds and who stays home.
And even without just that, it's a little bit for Mina about getting that revenge for last spring, where Moist Esports took away their best opportunity for a major title. Back then it was Falcons, this time it'll be Rule 1.
The other story for Rule 1, they're trying to collect a 4th region. They've beaten OCE, beaten South America, beaten North America. Now they're going to play EU to try and get top 4. Moist, the team in front of them. KCorp waiting to find out who's going to win the next match. BDS and Vitality up next on the stage.
Well, we saw throughout this series, KC, when they had the chances, they were at automatic. We're going to hand you over to our other automatic man. Subi is on the stage.
And once again, the Winter Major defending champs, showing that the blue wall stands tall. I'm joined up here by Itachi, and Itachi, you guys know how dangerous Moist is on land. What were the talks about last night when you're prepping for a team like this?
Yeah, obviously we know they're really, really good. We played them in the last major in Rotterdam, the 4th split, and they played really well, and we know what to expect, and yeah, we just played better today.
Yeah, you definitely did, but it was a close series. But throughout the spring split, you guys were 1st in all of Europe for goals per game, 2nd for assists per game. What about this team makes it to where you guys just find offense so easily?
Yeah, I mean, we're all very creative in the team. Like, we all know how to make some good plays, and we play together to be able to produce all the good plays and to follow each other, and that's why we're good in offense.
Now you guys forced Moist to call a big timeout there after game 2. A lot of people don't realize you guys get that timeout as well, and those timeouts seem to favor you so much. Johnny Boy was talking about the stats. It seems like your goals per game go through the roof after those. What do you guys usually talk about in those timeouts? Is it all about like mentality, about calming down, or is it on-field stuff?
It's a bit of everything, to be honest. Like, we're good at timeouts because situationally it depends on the game we're playing, and sometimes it's just the problem of mentality, sometimes it's a problem in game. We do something wrong and we try to fix it. It just depends, but we always find the good words between the games to bounce back and come back.
I love that. I love that you guys are always there for each other on the pitch and off the pitch. But like I said before, the blue wall just always stands tall, and it seems like regardless of where we're playing, right now we're in Boston and it seems like we're in France. What about this team makes it worth it for these fans to travel to all of these events for?
Yeah, I mean, KCorp, the organization is like amazing. Like the fan base is crazy. Like, we can hear them, they make a lot of noise for us. and they're really supportive. It's really good to have them on our side, and it just makes us really happy.
No, it makes me happy too to have all the fans from all around the world represented here in Agganis Arena. But one thing stands true is once again, we'll see KCorp on Championship Sunday.